So the question would be to tell us about a time when you began a new chapter or part of your life and how you dealt with that change. So the next would be you. Soren, is that right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Wait, can you tell me this coming there?
What? S-O-U-R-I. S-O-U-R-I-M. Yeah.
You good whenever?
Alright.
That's all right.
Okay, so, could you repeat the question actually?
Sure, yeah. So tell us about a time you began a new chapter or part of your life and how you dealt with it.
New chapter. This is gonna sound cheesy, but I'd say coming to college really was a new chapter in my life, right? So, back in high school, rough times for me. I wasn't necessarily a bad student in high school, like I still had good grades and things like that, but I really was not really finding my friend group and or unable to get out of my shell and make more friends. And here comes college. And I just began to experience loads of things that I'd never done in my life. I got kicked out of a residence hall. I did a lot of other dumb shit. I did a lot of dumb things. And it's only been a couple of weeks, and I realized all these things I basically experienced other people's high school experiences in the span of a couple of weeks. And I realized college has changed me to be a more extroverted person and to be a more outgoing person. In high school, I probably wouldn't even say hi to the person next to me, even if they were in my classes, because they would just be seen as an acquaintance. But in college, I'm saying hi to the person I just see in the bathroom like once every 2 days or something like that. So I would say college has really changed me to make me a more outgoing person and to maybe look for friends in places I wouldn't normally look. Like, I don't know, just like if I see someone in the hallway that I vaguely know, I'll just say, yo, hi, whatever, something like that. But in high school, I would like never even think of doing that because that's just like weird in a high school sense. But in a college sense, it's just all normal. We're all exploring and learning new things because this is what college is about.
So the next part of the hero's journey would be the belly of the whale, which just means like you're in deep trouble, essentially. So tell us about a time when you got in deep trouble. So that'd be the next question. So how about you start?
Deep trouble.
Yes.
I remember my first game as a soccer referee. Gary Perkle Park, 10 in the morning on a Saturday. It was the red team against the blue team, and so far in most of the game I hadn't had to interfere much. At one case, the red team kicked the ball at the goal and completely missed. It was clearly a goal kick, no doubt about it. But one of the parents decided to stand up and point their finger at me, saying that the ball clearly went off the keeper's hand, calling for a corner kick. Now, it's common referee code to ignore these angry parents and their shenanigans and just go on with the game. But he was so disruptive that I simply decided he could not be tolerated. So I did what referee code called for. I planted my feet. I turned my body, pulled up my pants, looked that man dead in the eyes, and I burst into tears. And it was in that moment that I knew I was not the confident referee that I always wanted to be, and that this simple job was no easy task.
So the next one would be the road of trials. So the road of trials is clear. That's just the path that the hero has to go through to reach their ultimate destination. And so the question associated with the trials is what new challenges has college presented for you, new challenges and trials, since I know there are a lot of first years here. So how about you?
sibling, and he went off to college like 3 years ago. So it was just kind of like me and my parents in my house, basically like an only child feeling for like a few years without him. So it's been pretty much I was spoiled for a little bit. I had everything I wanted. I had my room, had the food. And I had to like fight my brother for food for a while when he was at our house. So it's been really chill for me. But coming into college, it's been like I've had to do things myself, and no one just gives things to me. I have to like share with other people. It's not necessarily hard for me, but it is a little bit of a challenge. And otherwise, sort of just like I could easily just be alone and like not even try to interact with other people, which is sort of what my instincts tell me to do as an introvert. I could not come to Toastmasters, but I'm trying to like push myself forward and, you know, go past boundaries that I usually set for myself. So that's been a pretty challenging thing for me.
Did I spell your name right?
Yes. Oh, wait, is that an I before the A? It's just
It's just
Y-A.
an A.
Yes.
Just Y. Got it. Okay, and so the next one would be supernatural aid. That would be the next step of the journey. So when was? Tell us about a time someone saved you, or you saved someone else. How did you nutrition?
So the time someone saved me,
Or you saved someone else. You,
or I saved someone else. Okay. I wouldn't say I'm the most people person out there. Like mostly I have everything set up so that I know when to be somewhere, at what time, what do I need to bring. So, but for example, we just had the recent home game against Murray State, which I don't even know who they were until someone going, oh, okay, we're going against them. But I didn't have a ticket to the game. Decided last minute, but I did have a friend, fortunately, like very close friend, just like, hey, something came up really last minute, I can't go anymore. Just pay me the $10 and you can go ahead and go. It's like, are you sure? Like, I know like this, you've been wanting to go to the football games really recently, and I've been trying to get more into the sport. But fortunately enough, she was gracious to allow me to go to the first game this past weekend. And so in terms of saving me, she was able to grant me that favor. And actually, coming up this week, she does have an event for her Oregon. She does have a favor out there, so it's kind of exchanging that favor. So not more much saving, but rather helping each other out. Thank you.
Alright, so the next one would be the magic flight. And so tell us about a time. Actually, just kidding. If you could have any magical power, what would it be? How about you over here? What's your name?
Matt.
Mac?
Matt.
Matt.
Yeah. It's not my real name, but I'm just gonna go with that.
Okay.
Hey, my name is Matt. My magical power, I'm not thinking about anything right now, but I watched Flash a couple seasons, a couple of years ago, so I'll just say Flash. The light speed, and like kind of stops time because he's going so fast, so it's like time control at the same time. So that's, I don't really know anything.
Why?
You could like, I don't know, do anything really. It's like you have super speed, you could be anywhere, and you could stop time pretty much because you're so fast. You could do anything. And stop time. Rob banks.
What do you want to do with super speed?
Oh, what would I do? I just told you.
Or do you need the money? Rob a bank?
Yeah.
You said you might rob a bank. Why do you need the money?
Why do I need the money? I'll buy a yacht, buy some planes. Yeah.
Well, why do you need a plane if you're super?
I'm just coming up with things on the fly. I don't know.
So the next one is the apotheosis, which just means it's a fancy Greek word that means becoming a god. essentially. But what is something really cool that you know how to do or wish you knew how to do? Carlos, right?
Yeah. Something really cool I can or something I wish I could
Yes. Your choice.
Okay. When I was 6 years old, I was first introduced to music by my grandmother. She gave me this tiny little keyboard. It was electric. It was an electric keyboard, and it didn't have the full range. Like an actual electric piano has 88 keys, I think it is, so 88 white keys. And this was like half the size. And of course, it started out as I wouldn't even be able to play it. I would just click the buttons and I would let it play songs for me. And I would always dream that I could play the songs. And lessons are really expensive. And also, I don't think I'd ever really be devoted to lessons because there was a short period of time where I took piano lessons and that just definitely wasn't for me at all. But what it became was then my mom first started giving me flashcards with just music notes, and it just started out with reading music. And it eventually became something where I was starting to teach myself how to play piano. And right now, I know how to play piano like proficiently. Like if I am given a piece, I can't sight read it. It takes me probably a month and a half. So something really cool I wish I could do was definitely just be able to learn instruments quicker. Like given a piece of music, I wish I could be one of those people that could just immediately whip out that piece with no struggle whatsoever, because usually it takes me like a month and a half to 2, and that's just barely playing it. That'd be what I would want to do.
So the next one is the ultimate reward. And so tell us about a prize you won and what you had to get it. Let's see.
So I was in a program called Upward. It's basically a like Christian basketball program in like Carpenter Gym, so no one's going to the NBA from there. Basically, it's just a time where parents send their kids to waste energy so they can come back and crash on the couch or on the bed. But I remember there was an award ceremony that had this huge jar of cheese balls. And it says, guess the amount of cheese balls and win a prize. I had no idea I was just going to say 1 million. Because, I'm like a 7-year-old, and it was like, million's a big number, there's a big number in there. So, I was about to say 1 million, and then my brother, who was already taking like advanced math in high school, said, wait a second, I can guess how big the cheese balls is. If I take like a quick measurement, I walk up to the front of the line, measure the cheese balls, and then guess the volume of those cheese balls, and then compare it to the volume of the jar, and then calculate how many cheese balls are going to be in the jar, and then give you the amount of cheese balls so that you can win that prize. And he did that. So I wrote a very specific number, and at the end of the award ceremony, the guy that's announcing all the awards says, now I'm surprised because one person in the Upward program guessed the amount of cheese balls to the exact number. Keep in mind, this is completely against the rules, and this is a Christian program. So, we're just playing it by ear. And fortunately, the reward was like a $20 car DVD player. So it broke in the next month. So that's a time where I got something, that I didn't deserve, basically. Thank you.
Okay, so the next one would be the refusal of the return, which, so tell us about a place or time where you didn't want to leave. And Nick, right?
Yeah. What was the question?
So the question was, tell us about a place or time where when you didn't want to leave.
Okay. I used to work for this thing called Event Force like between high school and college. And basically we got to kind of travel, and you know those conferences like an Apple conference or Microsoft conference, whatever, and the like people who work there. Basically that's what we got to do. And so I got to travel to basically a bunch of different states and kind of stay in hotels and convention centers and kind of work for like Microsoft, IBM, and Google and stuff like that. One of the places we got to go was Chicago for a Microsoft conference, I think. It was a Microsoft conference. And we were supposed to stay in like a regular hotel, but they said we don't have enough rooms because we have a lot of guests, people with conference that stay there. So we have one hotel that's open, but you know it's kind of exclusive, so we're paying for it. So like it's fine, you can't stay there the whole time. You stay there for a couple days. And so we got to stay at the Palmer House in Chicago, which is like this exclusive celebrity like hotel, and I think like old Hollywood, so like Marilyn Monroe, maybe like Dick Van Dyke and stuff like that, and it's that type of hotel. And so when we went in there, we're just like regular old kids coming to work conference, and they were like, you know, I don't think you know what kind of guests we have staying here, because at the same time the NFL draft was going on, so we literally had like football players and whole teams, their parents staying there, and I remember kind of thinking like, this is something I could kind of get used to. Live in fancy places with rich people. I was like, I think I kind of like this. But we only had to stay there for literally like 2 days because that's all we could afford. And after we left, we just went back to like a regular hotel, and I was not feeling it. Kind of set my bougie taste a little bit.
And so the last segment of the journey is the freedom to live. So if you could live forever, would you? That's my last question. I think Serena, you did last year.
Alright, so one of the movies I watched recently, can't remember which Marvel movie it was, but basically the entire moral of the story was that death gives life meaning. And so if I were to be able to live forever, there kind of would be no point to my life because I could live forever and I would have every bit of time in the entire history of the world to do whatever I want. I guess the cool thing about living forever would be the fact that I could just basically live through every single era that I wanted to. So I'm personally like really fascinated by World War II. It'd be cool to go back to the time of Adam and Eve. It'd be cool to see what my great-great-great-grandchildren would look like. So that'd be really cool. But those are all personal reasons. And to me, I just don't have the motivation if I were to live every single day to do something productive because I know that I can just do that 100 years later. Whereas now, if I have deadlines, I know I can't procrastinate because I have to do something before I hit, say, 100 years old or 80 years old if I can live to that. So, yeah, if I were given the chance to live it forever, I would do it because that would give me an unfair advantage over everybody else. And I would want to make my life meaningful and pack it to the days that I could. That's it.
Right. So that concludes the table topic section. So was everyone in time?
Yes.
Okay. And in order for you to vote, and because of my terrible handwriting, I'm going to read out all of the names and what they spoke about again, so you can vote on which, who is the best, and I think second best, right?
Yeah.
The most improved table topic speakers. So the first was Slate, with his favorite book. The second was Maeve, that's not going according to plan. Third was Kimberly, with something you didn't want to do. Jian was with his mentor. Soren was with a new chapter, a threshold in his life. Stark was with Big Trouble. Nathia was with the trial she experienced coming to college. Tisha was with being saved. Max was with magical power. Carlos is with something cool he wish he could do. Zach was with a prize. Nick was with a place he didn't want to leave, and Serena was whether she had to live forever.
So I would take about 45 seconds for that. And as well, make sure you give feedback for Zach and turn into the boxes of December. That's then we'll Alright, with that, we're moving to the final stage, evaluation. And I will call the general evaluator, Trisha, to the stage, where she will explain her roles and what's gonna happen in this section. Trisha, come on up.
So as general evaluator of the meeting, so this transitions into the third section. We start with there. And this is where we take the time to kind of go over the meeting, see where can we improve, what went well, just to give feedback, because we do have the separate section that gives, or evaluators who give feedback for the speakers. This will be feedback for the general meeting, so if one day you decide to sign up or are asked to serve in one of the other roles today, you kind of have a grasp of like, okay, this is what was done before, let me see how I can incorporate something new or kind of bring it to another level, so to say. So first I will bring up our first evaluator for the day, who will be evaluating Zach Egan, to the stage.
So Zach, to start off, I think your speech was very emotional today, especially it connects to like the freshmen or even us. It's just like show us how willpower can help us through life, and then like it's this mental fortitude that will help us fight our struggles. Like even besides physical strength, it helps us like whatever aspect in our life. And what I like especially about your speech is the way you use some of the imagery, like the movement when you moved to the door, talked about the heat and what you saw. I thought that was very well done.